And what you want to develop as you continue to learn and deepen your understanding, what you want to develop is something that's independent of all the various resources it came from. At some point, you want to start seeing the truth for yourself, recognizing the truth for yourself, that you heard it said a number of different ways by a number of different people from a number of different disciplines and understandings. And after a while, it becomes possible to recognize it for yourself, to take what you were learning from the teachings and look at what's going on in your internal world, to take what you're learning from the teachings. And when I say the teachings, I don't mean just the traditions. I also mean brain science. I also mean some of the psychology. Not all of it is useful, but there are aspects of psychology that are very useful. To take all of it and start to develop an understanding that can serve you to realize what's possible, an understanding that can serve you to realize the possibility of being happy, satisfied, tranquil, peaceful, and wise in the way you live your life, and wise in the way you're relating to other human beings, and the wise in relating to the temporary situation that you're finding yourself in, so that when the time comes, that you're not taken by surprise, that you're not caught up in fear and you're not caught up in reactions. And in your relationships with people, that you stop playing the upset game with people. You stop being a victim. You stop being involved in conflict in life. You develop an ability to be calm enough physically and nervous system-wise. You develop an ability to be calm enough that you can maintain this calm state. And that becomes the practice. If you start to catch on to what this is about, what happens is you start to pay attention as you go through the day, and it starts to become second nature to watch whether you're upset. It starts to become second nature to watch whether you're in a mind state that's disturbing or anxious, whether you're in a mind state that's stressful, whether you're in a mind state that's in conflict with your life, in conflict with the past, in conflict with the future, in conflict with other human beings. And then if you're practicing being calm and mentally calm and physically calm, if you're practicing that, it will allow you to begin to discover that you can actually manifest this way of being that's calm, clear, grounded, consistent with the way things really are, so that the people who are around you start recognizing that you're not playing the same game anymore. You're not playing the upset game. You're not playing the victim game. That when they poke at you, you don't react, you know. You start being present to that situation with other people in such a way where they recognize that you're being a way that allows you to be tranquil and to be open and receptive and related and healthy and happy and peaceful and undisturbed by the circumstances that are occurring, by the behavior of other human beings. You have to get to a place where you understand this is really available, but you've got to get it you've got to get it from the cushion to your life. You've got to understand that what you're practicing in the formal practice should start to, if you're practicing it with the right understanding, and if you're practicing it with the right technique, and if you have a teaching to depend on, and if you have the support of a community, then you should be able at some point to start to have what you're practicing on the cushion or on the chair start to be available to you when it matters, when you're in the middle of the shit, you know, when somebody's attacking you verbally, or when you're sitting in your car and the same old pattern comes up of being frustrated and annoyed at the traffic. Or when you're trying to go to sleep at night, but you can't because the voice in your head just keeps playing on and on and on, worrying about tomorrow, worrying about what's going to happen, worrying about the future, worrying about the what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? And you're suffering a possible future situation that doesn't exist and may not ever exist. But you're so neurotic, you know, you're so fear-based, you're so scared, you're so neurotic that you are compulsively thinking about everything that could hurt you, everything that could go wrong. And as you get older, you know, you start worrying about it. Oh, my body's starting to ache. Oh, I'm getting diagnosis now that things are wrong with this body. And I'm at an age now where I look around and I start to see people are falling off. You know, people are dying around me, right? And so now if you haven't done the practice and if you haven't prepared yourself for sickness, old age, and death, the suffering goes up. The suffering goes up. You start being very concerned and fearful and upset. So that's what's available. And it seems to be the case that people who are caught up in the state of mind that most of humanity is in, they're so involved in that they see that as being so true. They see that as being the reality that is the reality. You know, that things like I'm talking about occur to people like that to be, you know, woo-woo, you know, spiritual. These people are into a cult. These people they think they're going to bleed their way out of this mess that we're all in here. That's the way these things are looked at by people who are lost in the sauce. So what you want to do is you want to ask yourself, if you're here and if you get these teachings, if you understand the possibility, if you want what this has to offer, then you're going to have to make it a personal matter. You're going to have to make it something that you have an absolute commitment to, and you're looking at the priorities of your life. You're looking to see, how can I make this a top priority in my life? You know, people that say they don't have time to meditate, but they have time to watch TV, but they have time, you know, to sleep, but they have time to overeat, but they have time to fight, they have time to argue, they have time to be upset. It's so ridiculous. Obviously, when people say they don't have time, it's because they're saying, given my priorities, I don't have time. And I consider recreation very high. So I'm not going to get involved because I don't want to disturb my free time, right? I don't have a lot of it because I have to work a lot, and I have to work very hard to make the money I need so that I can feel secure and be happy. So you really need to, at some point, look, you know, when I went to the retreat, when I go to those retreats, I'm not going because there's going to be a party. I'm not going there to recreate. I'm not going there to have a good time. I know it's going to be challenging. I know it's going to be difficult. Right? And I know that if I listen to the concerns and considerations that my mind throws up about it, I won't go, right? So when that stuff plays, you know, I watch it play, right? But the attitude I have about going to those things is I just go, period. I know there's value. I know it's a powerful experience to be had, right? And that's why I go. I go there the same way I go to get surgery. I go there the same way I go to get dental work done. But this is going there to deprive the mind of continuing to be crazy. Put yourself in an atmosphere that's sane. Put yourself in an atmosphere that's governed by a tradition in which you're practicing what it would be like to be sane. What would it be like to be calm and sane? What would it be like to be in an environment where you had support to stay awake all day long? What would it be like to have a teacher available to you that you could meet with twice a day to look at where you're at in this process and accept the influence of that teacher and the transmission that teacher can give to you, that you can take away? And the thing about it is that it won't last because it'll get ground down by being in this crazy world again, right? It'll get ground down, but it will increase my determination and my motivation because I experienced it to be true. And because I experienced it to be true, now I can remember that experience, and as I go around in the world, as I live my life day by day, and I encounter people, circumstances, and situations, right? I'm looking at them with the understanding that there's a possibility here of seeing this in a completely different way, seeing this with clarity, seeing this with clarity, seeing this with unconditional love, seeing this in terms of that I need not be here as a separate self. I can be here as a witness to my own personality, a witness to my own interior world, and a witness to what's going on around me with an understanding about what this is that allows me to relax. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. All this is for, as my teacher says, all this is for is all this practice, all these teachings, all this work, all this apparent work, right? All this is really about is to be able to have two slight curves on the sides of your mouth. That's what this is all about. For you to be able to smile, for you to be able to let go and relax and understand this is what the good news is. Nothing is going to happen. Your mind and your understandings and your teaching and your conditioning is in the way of experiencing this, but if you get through all that craziness and you practice the stability that's available, what you come to discover and experience consistently, moment to moment, is you're safe. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen to you. You can relax. You can really let go and relax, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Given the state of mind that most human beings are experiencing, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But if you keep doing these practices and keep developing a deeper understanding, gradually you will start to see there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be upset about. There's nothing to be angry about. There is nothing to resist. There's nothing to reject. It's all working perfectly. It's all working perfectly. But you're blind to that. You're blind to that. You're seeing through a pair of glasses called conditioning. You're seeing through the conditioning at what's happening, and that conditioning tells you to be afraid. That conditioning tells you that this is a dangerous situation. That the conditioning tells you that you have to do everything possible to try and maintain security, try and resist reality. Try and stop time. Try and stop the body from aging. Try and stop people from hurting you. You know, this is the horror show. This is the hell realm that the ordinary life is. And it's just because of the glasses. When you start to practice these practices and develop the understanding of these teachings, the glasses start changing. The prescription of the optics starts to change gradually until it gets to a point where the glasses are allowing you to see things as they actually are. And when that happens, your body calms down and relaxes, the mind calms down, and you start to realize, wow, what this really is when I wake up and see it for what it is, what this really is an opportunity to enjoy life. That's what this is. It's an opportunity to enjoy life. That's what's available. In spite of all the horror, in spite of all the conflict, in spite of all the apparent threat, right? That's all just happening because of the glasses. It's all that's happening because of the glasses. Well, you know, the way to raise your grandson and to raise your children is to raise yourself first. You know, first you get clear about the truth and start living consistent with that truth, and then you'll be a model for them. They won't have to say to you down the road, you talk the talk, but you don't walk the walk. No, you walk the walk first, and then you can talk about it.